And so what do you mean? So you have some Italian blood in you?
I do. I'm a quarter Italian. My grandmother is 100%. My great grandmother immigrated over from Italy. She was from northern Italy, and she married one of those Sicilians. And so, as you know, when you do that, they kick you out of the country. So she had
Okay.
to go over. She had to go over to New York and be an American Italian. And she had 8 kids, and my grandmother was one of them, the youngest. And so large Italian Catholic family on that side. My mother grew up with 5 brothers and a sister. We didn't follow the traditional Italian
I
because
see.
somebody has to be in the military and somebody has to be part of the church, right?
Right,
So we
right.
did the military side, but we didn't do the church side. So it's just not proper Italian.
Gosh, but what do you mean you did the military side?
On my mom's side, my mother was in the army, and one of her brothers, one went in the Marine Corps. My grandfather was on my mom's side was a Marine in the Korean War, so they all joined the military.
Oh,
But
good.
none of them joined the church. No one became a priest, and we're like,
I see.
yeah, what did you do there?
No, no praise there. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know about it. And do you sometimes go to Italy, or have you ever spent time there?
Yeah, I've been all around Italy, from Agrigento down in in Sicily, the city of temples, and Marsala on the west. Good sweet wine there, all the way through Naples. You get the pizza there. You go up to Perugia, Rome, go north Tuscany. The Dolomites are my favorite area. They're just the
I
mountains
see.
there are drop dead gorgeous. Although it's weird because you go to certain areas, they start speaking German, and you're just like, I thought I'm in Italy. What happened here?
It
So
is.
yeah.
It's crazy. To me, it's crazy because I live in UK now for, I don't know, 9, 10 years. My wife is British, and but I do a lot of videos where I speak in Italian, and every time there are topics. Crypto is one of those
Right.
topics, for instance, that in this moment there is still a huge gap between Italy and the rest of the world, I think. So if I say, I don't know, NFT or crypto or any kind of Web3 related topic,
Right.
I would say a lot of people, probably majority of people, think, oh, this is, scam. This is not good. This is like rubbish. I don't know. Italy is a country that it resists to change a
I,
lot.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say
Oh,
there's a split because the Italians who speak English, a lot of them are pro crypto. The
yeah,
Italians whose English is not so good, or they just don't bother. You're right, and that group, I've noticed that the crypto competency is quite lower. But it depends. Italy
yeah,
is, people forget, is top 10 country in terms of GDP and huge capital markets. A lot of Italians are all over the place. Is actually one of the most prominent cryptocurrency entrepreneurs in our industry is Silvio Micali. He started
yeah,
Algorand, and as
yeah.
you guess by the name, he's proper Italian. He grew up in Italy, and Silvio is also one of the world's foremost academics. He got a Turing Award, which is the Nobel Prize of Computer Science, and so he's a professor at MIT. But I mean, yeah, that's one for the home team. He immigrated from Italy to the United States, and he still does do presentations in Italian and so forth. And so
It
there's
is.
there's always an Italian guy somewhere, or a gal somewhere that's
So
doing something. You can't not do it.
You are right. I've interviewed Silvio some times ago, and,
Yeah.
it was crazy because he started to talk math, and I say, Silvio, stop it! I can't. I lost you. At 1+1, I couldn't follow him.
Yeah.
But I think about Italy, to be fair, once we get it, so one like social media. At the beginning, people say no, social media is a scam. That's always the Italian
Right.
reaction. No, that's a scam. Internet is a scam. But when we get it, then we jump on it. And the
Right.
use for social media use was like massive. Or Amazon, I remember interviewed Jeff Bezos years ago because they launched Italy as like the third country in the world. And I say, why do you launch Italy? Because Italians, they were buying, we are buying a lot. We were a
Right.
lot on social media. So I predict on crypto will hopefully be the same.
Well, here's the thing. You see, always when crypto comes to your industry, do you start adopting it? So the UK, for example, is a little ahead of the curve because it has such a big fintech area. But now
Right.
with NFTs, a lot of Italians are starting with fashion, other things. Hey, we should do something in the crypto space. So we've gotten a lot of requests to go out and talk to the fashion industry, and head out to Milan and other places to spread the good word of crypto. So I think while they're a little slower out of the gate than Germany or the UK, by no means is Italy out of the game, and it's definitely going to have a big impact.
Yeah.
The other side of things is the Italian government's always looking for ways to get more money from tourism and for more tax
Right.
revenue. just like the Greek government or others. And there's a lot of conversations about adoption of blockchain technology for anti-corruption, tax compliance, or these types of things. And this is another example where Italy is uniquely suited to actually make progress. There
Yeah.
are a lot of great Italian academics who are publishing phenomenal papers. BitML, for example, came out of Italy. It was in university, I forget which one, in
Right.
northern Italy. And so there's dozens of great people there. But it's okay. It's better than Spain or Portugal. It's better
Yeah.
than Latvia. Italy's
Also,
making progress.
also Italy has, all the fashion district,
Yeah.
the automotive district. So that these industries,
Lamborghini, they're
yeah,
doing
Lamborghini,
NFTs. Yeah, Lamborghini,
Dolce
Ferrari,
Gabbana launched the
Gianni.
NFTs. So
Yeah.
definitely, we're getting there. We're getting there. What's the temperature in US about crypto? I give you an example here in UK. I've decided for a startup to move some part of the balance sheet into Bitcoin. Okay, just because of what you said. I mean, and or Michael Saylor every time say, balance sheet into Bitcoin. All right, good. So instead of keeping in pound, we say, all right, let's put, I don't know, 200K in Bitcoin, something like that. And damn, I mean, to move it from a bank, from a traditional bank, just to buy the Bitcoin, I had to give my blood, Charles. I was there and saying, guys, do you want my blood? What else do you want? It's my money. Can I do whatever I want with my money? So I don't understand why you have to, make it so complicated. I understand why a bank doesn't want me to move the money, but so at the end we did it. So I would say still there is, the discussion is still long, let's say, to get to a point. I wonder if US is more advanced, and maybe
Yeah, I wish you were right, but the problem is that we're doing everything the wrong way right now.
right.
The state governments are embracing crypto at an extraordinary rate. Yeah, state of Colorado, where I live, they basically say you pay your taxes in crypto. In the state of Wyoming, where I also live, they've passed 26 pro crypto laws, and we're having great progress there, and special purpose
Okay.
banks and all kinds of things. So at the state level, that progress is extraordinary, and I'd say it's equal to or greater than what we see in Switzerland and other places. At the federal level, there's a war of the titans. The legislative branch, the people who make the laws, are at war with the executive branch, and the executive branch is trying to dominate and control everything and protect special interest groups like the banks. And the legislative branch is fractured, but they want to pass new laws and create new regulations for crypto that hopefully are good for the industry. And so they're fighting each other, and there's no clear winner yet. And we are lobbying as a company, and our industry is lobbying for pro crypto legislation and rulemaking, but it is deeply frustrating at times. This is right now America's industry to lose, just like the internet was America's industry to lose. The majority of the prominent entrepreneurs, infrastructure, knowledge base, and engineering is mostly American, 50 to 70%, I'd say. But what's happened is because of this stupidity in the federal government, a lot of American entrepreneurs, businesses are outsourcing. They're leaving. They're going to Switzerland, Singapore, UK, Greece, anywhere they can that's different, so that they're not under U.S. jurisdiction for these things, and blacklisting the United States, saying we don't want to do business with the U.S. Just like banks are saying we no longer want to have U.S. customers as have bank accounts. So it's disheartening for me because I live in the United States, and obviously as an American, I'd like to see American leadership in this marketplace. But at the end of the day, this is beyond nation states. It's global technology, and for the good of humanity, this technology has to spread. And whether Ethiopia is the leader, or Kenya is the leader, or Italy is the leader, or U.S. is the leader, we need somebody to usher humanity into a different way of doing things that ultimately is more fair for everybody. And it would be nice to see that continue being part of the American story. But, there's a reason why nation states decline. They lose vision, they lack leadership, they become arrogant and ossified, and as the British Empire did and others do. And if my nation wants to be a leader, it has to recognize humility and take a step back and embrace good ideas like our industry.
Yes, you're right. Sometimes it's frustrating. I give you an example. I launched my NFTs recently, and it's a utility NFT. And I have a big community of a lot of Italians around the world. And the first thing I said, I say, all right, I give you access, to my event, to my stuff, it's a utility, access to my things.
Right.
And then I say, my next book, I want to give a percentage back to my community. So I don't know, 20% I will give back with the smart contract, blah, blah, blah. So I talk with the accountant here, and oh my God, he said, look, stop, don't even start with a, and I say, why? I mean, it's technically is absolutely easy and possible to do. So, and no, it's a security, whatever. I say, oh,
right.
shit. So I thought, all right, I'll wait a second, but that's frustrating because I think also for the community would be great, something like that. I saw musicians doing it. So
and also anti-clarity. I mean, you say Ethereum's not a security, and then, oh, well, we weren't really serious. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We don't want to take that position. It's like, what are you doing? And then securities law, you want to do fractionalized ownership of a book, you should go through an IPO and register as if you're a $500 million publicly traded company. This is literally the clarity and oversight that we're being told. Oh, it's easy to register. Go register. Well, tell us how many people have. And tell us how easy it is and how many millions of dollars you have to spend in legal fees to go down that road for a profit share for something between maybe 50,000 people across the world, the vast majority of which aren't American. You might just have an American fan. This is the arrogance of the current regulatory structure and the tone deafness of it. And you typically see that when people have a monopoly and they've been in charge too long, they just don't care about competitiveness. They don't care about consumer friendliness, and they have to be reminded, usually by falling behind in a geopolitical event, that they need to upgrade, modernize, or else the whole thing comes falling down. As an American, it deeply frustrates me because all it does is just hurt us. We have $30 trillion in national debt. The only way we're going to pay that off and actually maintain our standard of living is by innovating. We're sure as hell not going to do it through some sort of federal program. So the only way we can innovate is by being on the forefront of modern markets like nanotechnology and biotechnology and blockchain and IoT. But if we destroy the bedrock of entrepreneurship through bad regulation, all you've done is you've just basically said, not only are you going to lose that industry, because you've lost it, you will now get systematically poorer and your national debt will move to hyperinflation. Your economy will collapse. So this is what our leaders want. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Is what it is. And so hopefully wiser people will prevail, and leadership in government's going to have to make some decisions. And this administration and future administrations, as well as this Congress and Senate, as well as future ones, have all the available information to lead with wisdom. It's just their question of whether they want to do that, and history will hold them accountable one way or the other.
You said you're lobbying as an industry, and I was curious. That's a very stupid question, but I can't. I have to ask you, Charles. Do you have like a WhatsApp group, actually Signal group? I don't know, and all of the top founder of all the blockchains, the real Satoshis in the group, and you just chat to each other and say, guys, what are we going to do today?
Yeah, there are some industry groups, like Gabe at Bed runs one, and I'm members of them. And they're the big guys in the industry. We talk to each other in person at Satoshi Roundtable, and we also talk digitally through WhatsApp. But, we also have lobby groups like Blockchain Alliance and Coin Center and so forth in the US. And there are European equivalents and equivalents in Asia that do represent the industry. And they spend millions of dollars, and they have dedicated staff like Jerry Brito and his guys. And they work hard every day. And they remind people when bad things come out, like the infrastructure bill recently or other terrible missteps that have caused a lot of damage. And we try hard as an industry to undo it. And the problem is our industry is very young. And when you're young entrepreneurs, you tend to undervalue the legacy system. So it's a little education and convincing and arm twisting to get people to lobby and invest in lobbying. They're like, screw these guys, we'll compete with them. I said, well, it's back and forth. There's a lot there. However, there's phenomenal politicians in the US that are very pro crypto, like Senator Lummis, for example, out of Wyoming. She's extremely pro crypto. And so there are people at the federal government level, at the Securities Exchange Commission, Hester Pierce, the commissioner there. She's one of the 5, very pro crypto. Bitcoin mom is what they call her. So there are some great people in and out of government.
How do they call her? Bitcoin mom?
Yeah. A wonderful person to
Excellent.
interview, by the way, if you can get her. She's
Oh,
still at the
yeah.
commission, and very pro crypto, and very sensible and balanced in the policy. There are real consumer protection issues. There are serious things that have to be addressed and done. And yes, some people are securities and need to register. But at the same time, you can't just paint the entire industry in one brush. How boring would the world be if you could only paint with one color?
Yeah.
And so you need diversity, you need different approaches, and that there's a lot of people who recognize that there needs to be different approaches and diversity.
Charles, what's coming next for Cardano in like the top priorities that say, look, this is really like my top 3 priorities for the next 12 months until we meet again. I'll bring you my Italian Pandoro, which is the cake that we bring for Christmas. It's not panettone, but Pandoro is a specific, fantastic cake.
Molto bene. It's good. Yeah, it's very good.
I will not bring the NFT of the Pandora. I will bring the real one, or actually the real one with an NFT that probably give you access to something. But yeah, what are the top 3 priorities for you now that you focus on?
Right now, I'd say commercial comparability, sustainability, and self-determination are the 3 big things that we're really working on. So in terms of commercial comparability, we focused an enormous amount of effort in the beginning of the project on correctness and scientific excellence. So we developed all these phenomenal protocols like Silvio did and others in our industry. And we got to a point where we kind of know the future. We know how to build great things, and we're gradually rolling those things out. So this year, all these updates are coming that are massively improving the scalability and expressiveness of the system so that you'll get the same type of performance you're seeing from systems like Solana and so forth, or at least in the same orders of magnitude. And there's a good commercial story there. So not only do you get all the security, the correctness, the resilience, and a great 3 million person community, but you also get the best of what competitors are bringing to bear. So June and October are going to be great months for us because those are the months where we're turning a lot of new features on, both in the improvements of Plutus, sidechains, pipelining, input endorsers, these types of things. And there's some phenomenal applied research threads like Hydra, which allow us to really honor what Lightning tried to do with Bitcoin and Plasma tried to do with Ethereum, because we kind of built these models together. So there's a very bright future in that respect. In terms of sustainability, you'd like a system that as it operates, it gets more efficient, more scalable, and it has the ability to grow at an organic pace. And the system contains that same cost center and standard of performance that you've come to know and love. The problem with cryptocurrencies is they're good and then not good. So Ethereum is good, yay, and then it gets clogged, and now it's not good. High gas fees, oh no, same for Bitcoin. So you want a system that as you grow, your user experience does not deteriorate. So that means you need things like Mithril, UTXO HD, these other technologies. Mithril allows you to have great light client support. So you have full node security, but with a cell phone client or browser, and you can just instantly be using it regardless of how big the blockchain is. Okay, and it's just the same user experience. And other things just to keep the system scale and also make sure that the system is always decentralizing. So the way we designed it, the more valuable ADA gets, the higher the amount of stake pools you're going to get. And as a result, as adoption occurs, the system becomes more secure and decentralized over time, which is a desirable feature. And then self-determination, which is unique to Cardano and a few others like Tezos, is we have a great governance layer. You hold data, you can vote, and you can participate in the governance of the system. So having the system have the ability to decide its own roadmap, decide its own vision, not Charles Hoskinson or some consortium or some group of officials, but rather the people who hold the data coming together and converging to where they want to go over the next 5 years is a high priority, because once you've done that, you have the wisdom of millions, not the wisdom of a few. No matter how smart I am, I'm not smarter than a million people. Okay, so there's so much diversity there. It's just harnessing that wisdom of the crowds. And then also Cardano has its own treasury system. So like any government, it has the ability to print money. And as a result, you can use that to fund its development. So it's not just self-determination, but it's also self-funding, self-bootstrapping. You get those 2 elements right, it's inevitable that you win, because you're always smarter. You always have the money to pay for growth. And whether it takes you 5 years or 10 years, you're going to get there because you don't regress. You don't lose people along the way. You just keep gaining. We're at 3 million. We were at almost nothing 4 years ago. And we'll wake up, we'll be at 10. We'll wake up, we'll be at 50. You tell me people are going to leave when they're tattooing our logo on their body? You're nuts. You're crazy. No, they're going to stay. Their life, they're naming their kids after us. We're not going anywhere. You see, so there's an inevitability as long as we honor the commercial comparability, the sustainability, and the self-determination. And that's really where the priorities are right now. For me, as a private company, where I'd like to use Cardano technology is economic identity. So while the protocol is useful for everybody, equally useful to a person in Senegal as it is in Italy and Rome, as it is in Wyoming, for me, we're really focused as a company, IO is, in jurisdictions like Kenya, Ethiopia, and other places where we can get economic identity to people, loans to people, remittances to people, stable assets to people that hold their value over the local currencies. And there's a lot of great, cool stuff this year we're going to be able to talk about that goes from aspirational to reality. In Bermuda 8 years ago, I said, hey, this is what crypto can do in a TED Talk. Well, we're going to show the world that not only is that possible, it's been done for real people in these jurisdictions. And then if we get it right, very quickly, that's going to grow to millions, to tens of millions. And really, it's going to showcase the moral value and the principal value of Cardano, of creating one world marketplace where everybody's treated equally and everybody has economic identity and they can't be shut out just because it's inconvenient to somebody powerful somewhere.